Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so we're talking Timberwolves at Memphis Game 6. Memphis had a very, very slim victory, and if it weren't for a few just bad decisions defensively, a couple of bad plays here and there on Minnesota's part, they would have won the pivotal Game 5. So you love with the effort that both teams gave. You love the fact that both teams had young players that were not afraid to take the big shot and make the big play happen. But unfortunately for Anthony Edwards, he just made a mistake on the end defensively, overplaying Ja Morant on the inbound, and Ja was able to get past him, get to the cup for the victory on a layup. Just something you don't want to see the young fella do. But that wasn't the only mistake that was made. It was several others, guys. Just gotta play smarter, I think, and learn from their mistakes in these series. And there's gonna be a lot of mistakes to see when you go back and look at the film. If you're the Minnesota Timberwolves, a lot of stuff throughout, not just Game 5, but throughout the entire series that they can really use and learn and grow from. So, gotta be proud of both teams. They're both doing their job. Okay, so we called out Dylan Brooks in the last game. No pundits, nobody's talking about his 1 for 10 3-point performance. No one's talking about how poorly he shot because, of course, his team won. But in a game like that, a pivotal closeout on the road, unacceptable. He's lucky to have won, and he's going to have to play better if the Memphis Grizzlies are going to do what they need to do in this particular game. I picked them in 6. I'm going to stick with my pick, but my confidence level is not high at all because I have a lot of belief in the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. They have some guys that could really help them tonight. Obviously, it starts with Karl-Anthony Towns, greatest three-point shooting center in the history of the sport. He's going to have to continue to be aggressive. When he pushes the, he pushes the issue, good things happen. It's most important, in my opinion, that they continue to be or begin to, because they haven't necessarily been, but start the process of being efficient. Every possession matters. You know what I mean? And if you have that in your mind from possession to possession, better things will happen. Because I think a lot of guys kind of take possessions for granted in this era. Early shot clock, 3-point shots, stuff like that needs to be managed for sure. So little stuff like that. I'm looking at players like Jaden McDaniels, who has struggled in this series for his standards. I know how much talent he has. I also know he's nestled in a weird spot on this team where he doesn't get plays called for him, but he has a lot of talent. He can do a lot of things, and when he scores above 15 points, the Minnesota Timberwolves have done better in the series. But getting him to be productive in the series hasn't been as easy on the offensive end as it needs to be. He's going to have to score the ball with the minutes given. If he were somebody we could account for as someone who was playing very well in this series, that would have changed things dramatically. Because to be honest with you, what we're getting from Brandon Clark is unprecedented. This is not something you account for when he's going off for the type of production that he's doing, scoring and rebounding, playing defense, and just overall being a star on their bench. I could argue he's been the sixth man of the playoffs thus far. He just, Memphis cannot win without him playing like this, in my opinion. Not against this Minnesota Timberwolves team. They've needed every bit of what he's done in this series to keep them above this Minnesota team. So if anybody deserves credit in this series, it's him, because he's been balling. You also want to see more, just flipping back and forth between the teams. I go where my head takes me, but I want to see more from Jared Vanderbilt as well. Look at that Minnesota team. It's those two players that we've mentioned there that complement the era that we're in regards to making the Minnesota Timberwolves fully relevant with the times. Long, wingy, defensive defenders who can rebound and possibly shoot the ball most of the time. Those guys are the new hot shot. That's the new flavor of the month. And I'm telling you, Minnesota has two of the better ones. They just got to get something out of those guys in this series. So Vanderbilt, he's gonna have to. McDaniels and Vanderbilt are the two guys. If they play well, Minnesota wins. If they don't play well, chances are Minnesota weren't even in the game. That's how serious and important they are to what it is that they do. They need to be active on the defensive side. They need to be going crazy, 50-50 ball style, winning those matchups. Offensive glass, so important for those two. And, of course, efficiency scoring the ball. I want more than 8 points from both of those players. I know that's not too much to ask for. They need to contribute to scoring the basketball. Team ball. That's the story for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They got to get some more assists out there. They got to play together. You're not seeing enough assists amongst the team itself. It's one thing to, force the issue and foul and do all these different things and make mistakes. But if you're not working together, what you're doing is making yourself easy to defend. Simple as that. It's not even about, be unselfish, work with your teammate, one for one another. It has to do more so with the rhythm of play and just making sure the defense has to stay honest. Keep the ball popping. D'Angelo Russell should not be taking the last shot in a game like this. I like D'Angelo Russell. and let me preface that by saying he's actually very good in clutch situations. We know he has ice in his veins. So if he's open, let it fly. But as far as running plays for him, down the stretch of basketball games, that jump shot off the elbow with like 20 seconds to go or whatever it was down the stretch, that should never have been attempted. We need that to be Karl Anthony Towns or Anthony Edwards. That should be the pecking order on this team. If neither one of those players are open, then we're looking for D'Angelo. Then we're looking for Beasley. Then we're looking for other players. But as far as I'm concerned, Finch should have it so that his team understands their pecking order. And that's been my thing all series long. I don't think these kids really know exactly what that is. They know their roles, but as it pertains to, hey, he's first over you, you shouldn't be shooting over him unless absolutely necessary. Yeah, that doesn't seem like that was something that was done, and it shows. So for me, like I said, I picked Memphis in 6. I'm not wavering from that because I think that Taylor Jenkins has done a much better job than Chris Finch. And I hear a lot of people talking about, Chris Finch drew up the play down the stretch that McLaughlin got to Edwards. I'm like, yeah, he may be great at drawing up plays. That's just one thing. We got like several other things that we need to discuss that may not be as strong for Mr. Finch, because what I saw was a lot of lapses with the team in terms of their focus. Some of that is because they're young. Some of that is because of him and things that he just wasn't doing, including calling timeouts and substituting certain players in. I look at what Brandon Clark's doing, and then I look over at Josh Okogie and see he's healthy on their bench, not moving. I know what he's good at. I know what his game is. I know how much athleticism and size he brings. He's the answer to your Brandon Clark problem, and you're not even trying him because you're afraid he's going to brick a shot or two, as if everybody else is scoring like Chris Paul. I'm sorry. No one on your team is that efficient. You need to be playing your best, strongest, and biggest bodies who can jump out there and do things for you. I felt like Naz Reid didn't get enough minutes in the last game. The guy started off the game hot. He was doing most of the stuff for you on the interior. You got away from him, and you lost. That's not a coincidence. You got to go with the hot hand. Basketball's not that difficult. Whoever has it going needs to get the ball. And I felt like Naz Reid should have been out there, and I felt Josh Okogie should have been played in regular rotation the entire time. I like Taurean Prince, but if I were running the team, Taurean Prince would be where Okogie is, and Okogie would be where Prince is. I'm sorry. If Taurean Prince ain't hitting a 3 or driving at the basket for an and 1, he's doing nothing. He's not that good of a player. I'm just going to be honest. It's been that way since he was in Atlanta. He's really solid, but he's average. And when a guy's average on a team with this type of upside, like everybody has upside. Nah, I ain't got no time for average player. No disrespect. That was my same argument when I had I said that Coach Green shouldn't play Tony Snell. No disrespect to Tony Snell. No disrespect to these guys. But I just have a mentality about when your whole team is young. Play the young guys you're not playing. Don't just reach in and just grab a average guy because he's on tab and you're paying him $1 million. No, that's not, in my mind, that's not a good enough reason to live and die with somebody. Because he makes a certain amount of money or because he's a guy that people like or something. Nah. It's basketball, man. This is chess, not checkers. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to be reluctant to move certain pieces on the board because, they happen to be a certain color or whatever stupid crap. Like, no, man. This is chess. Put the players on the board to give you the best opportunity to win. Right now, everything's about size and defense. If you haven't noticed, it's about size and defense. So, while Taurean Prince can be solid on the defensive end, like I said, he's a sturdy player. He doesn't suck, but come on, man. Josh Okogie is a player who has upside. Just because you don't believe in him anymore does not mean that he doesn't have God-given body to defend, athleticism, rebounding prowess, defense. If you don't want him, give him to us. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want him, send him to the Lakers. We could use a guy like that. So, yeah, that's my thing. I really do think he would have contributed to the defensive end and the rebounding. And that's ultimately where they're getting beat up. So, anyway, I got to go. My Amazon stuff is here. I will get back to you guys in regards to other games. But, of course, you already know. I ain't got to say too much about this series. I love this series. These kids are doing great. And I can't wait to talk to you guys about the end of this game. But for now, BDF44, thank y'all for watching. I'm out.